Hello. Yeah. Hey, we back. Let's go. There we go. All right. Appreciate your patience, guys. Got the Wi-Fi up. Okie dokie. Welcome to your full moon ceremony. Let me know if you guys have any experience, but it should be all. Those uh, uh, I hope you've enjoyed your city. I hope you've enjoyed 23, if any. Um, I'm right now. This is the first time I am actually streaming on Instagram. Um, Shout out to Prince Judah me from Instagram. Please feel free to comment me on it. But yeah, right. Whew. Anyway, whew. All right. I think we should be good now. Yeah. Um, I should be all right here. Anyway, yeah. This is the first time I'm streaming on Instagram with StreamYard, so I'm not sure if you guys could see me on here, but regardless, happy full moon in Cancer, guys. This is definitely one of the most powerful full moons we're gonna have. I mean, this is the end of 2023, so I think the most powerful full moon of 2024 is going to be in 6 months from now, actually. Full moon in Capricorn. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, I appreciate you. Definitely have you know, a few things planned for next year, moving forward with Team Mystical Illuminations. All right. We're gonna get the pay per call platform up. That's crazy. Um, yep, Pharaoh is definitely gonna be a part of that. So look out for that. You guys will be able to, talk for a minute. Can anyone confirm, is any of you watching, are any of you watching me live on Instagram right now? I just want to make sure it's not a black screen there. But I can still just like practice. If so, I have to do that. I'll have to end that live. But other than that, yeah, I personally am when I get back to Vegas, I'm gonna be working on um the Astro 101, 102, 103, 104, and 105 series. So for those of you who've been wanting, Penny, thank you very much. For those of you who've been wanting just some education, how to read charts, how to understand the planets. I already got most of it done. I just got to record it. So yeah, lots to look forward to. That's awesome. Shout out to In Pursuit of Godliness, Linus. So yeah, man. Um, Nikki D for sure. I got you. And thanks. Shout out to those of you on Instagram who see me. Much appreciated. Um, this is cool because I've been wanting to stream on YouTube and Instagram at once for the longest time. So that's gonna be dope for those of you who only see me on Instagram. Also, I do have a chat channel, I have a social channel on Instagram, and also have two new broadcast channels. So stay tuned for that. I'll just be sharing positive messages. Anyway, yeah, full moon in Cancer. Um, this is definitely bringing in a much deeper psychic and intuitive understanding of where you're getting ready to take your character. And, you know, this at the end of the year, um, I hate to be vague here because I'm sure everyone's going through this, but um, please comment an exclamation mark if perhaps maybe you just haven't been feeling like yourself. I mean, that's something common that everyone goes through. So it's not necessarily crazy if you haven't been feeling like yourself. I do. But, as far as if maybe you've been feeling lesser energy, almost like, you're not sure what's happening next. Once again, this is very vague. I mean, it's not uncommon for people to not feel like themselves. But the reason why I want to mention that in conjunction to now is, of course, just making sure you understand what you're feeling isn't really depression or not feeling like yourself. You've effectively completed your transformation process. So a lot of November and late October brought in this transformation and apotheosis that, through ascension and Sagittarius is having you direct the completion of this through Cap. So um, thankfully, coming into the beginning of this next year and passing the 29-degree Sun Pluto, I think a lot of what's really cool about Saturn Pisces is really processing the end. Think of all the legacy acts that we've seen come through and that's what I want you to think about. 1991, 1995, 1996, 1994. I've been watching a lot of videos recapping a lot of things that we may have watched as children. You know, I was kind of tripping out at how Pokemon has Ash has officially ended his journey. You know what I mean? I feel like Ash Ketchum, who's still 10 years old, by the way. So 25 years, the whole progress of Ash Ketchum and his journey can be tied to this Saturn transit because relative to where it started versus how you doing, where it is now, it has pretty much made a whole cycle and return. And it's interesting to see how these have ended and you get the review, you get the whole journey. Say hi to my mom, guys.
Hey, how are you?
Yep. This is my friends online
I see.
going live. Yep. That was my mama. Yeah. So, it's just kind of amazing to see the progress of such a journey, but more so what it represents as far as like how, you know, a lot of what kind of came with that, a lot of what you've gone through, is just kind of bringing home this whole notion that we're at the end. If you think about a lot of these brands that have to push forward their content for younger generations, it's just really trippy to finally be at the end of this phase, this saga, all the stuff that you personally have come into since the late 90s that are, of course, getting ready to cycle around again. It's kind of like coming from the 60s to the 90s. So we have 69, 67 to 90. And that represented the last time we went through something like this. But the thing is, for those of you who realistically, once again, like you're feeling different, um, th- many of you may be feeling into aspects of who you have already become before you've become it. It's really hard to put into words because there's everything you're seeing physically, and then there's where your mind and consciousness is at, which may not be here. You know what I mean? Picking up on such a rapid collective evolution quicker than the information that you're accessing can make sense of and process, which is requiring more of you to trust your metaphysical senses, the metaphysical facet of yourself. It may almost feel like a lot of things don't even matter anymore. And that's because you are in the process of feeling everything that you've ever known become obsolete. And much facets of your spirit are already there. So it's not going to make sense to your brain seeing this physically, even though everything physical is projected spiritually from the non-material realm. So just something to really keep in mind. This can definitely, like the ego does, cling on and not want to let go of control. But just something to really keep in mind, especially a lot being irrelevant, a lot feeling obsolete. It's because you have ascended to a level where so much of what you spent maybe years or weeks worrying about don't really matter anymore. And that could be, especially for those with trauma responses, that could be a very weird feeling where like a recurring narrative or something that has been an issue you've been challenged by near your whole life, just like that is just you. In fact, you're realizing it was never an issue. So that's not even really to be good or bad, but I just wanted to share that concept because it's really amazing during this period to just review how far you've come, um especially coming out of the age of Pisces, especially recycling Neptune in Pisces that hasn't been in the sign for like 185 years, give or take, or since the 1800s. You know what I mean? So that's one phase, right? We're talking about how physically your consciousness as as a spiritual being having a 3D experience is disillusioning yourself from everything you might have been taught or lied to about this in any way being real or local and real. You know what I mean? Then there's also the next part, the spiritual aspect. Let me, and I hate to say spiritual because of how, that word has just been ruined and bastardized. But let's say the non-material aspect of yourself, the soul part of you, right? You watching this right now, they're concepts that maybe you've struggled to make sense of your whole life that are clear as day now and are starting to fill in the vocabulary for how to actually communicate it, or at least how to think about it, how to understand. And the reason why I want to speak on this is the only thing that comes to mind is like accessing a treasure chest that for your whole life you didn't even know was a treasure chest. You thought it was just some box, right? Something that was like right next to you. Of course, I'm talking about your soul, your mind, and your heart. Something that's been within you. It's like you're only just now able to really see that treasure for what it was. Not that some of you didn't necessarily open it before, but like you may not have known, or you may not have been given context around you, right? You may have tried to cash out what was in the treasure box, and people around you said, "That's worthless. What? That's crazy. That's nothing." Only for now, for someone who actually knows what they're talking about to be like, what? You've had this the entire time? That's really the next set of, that's really one of the major realizations coming into Pluto in Aquarius. Okay. Like the whole coming out of Pluto Cap into Pluto Aqua is almost like an alien, like a celestial being like, whoa, you've had this the entire time? And you're just like, oh, yeah, it's just some trinket. That is not just some trinket. That is not just some trinket. I have traveled light years as a myth just to find, we didn't even think that was real. We thought that was a myth. All right. And for many of you, this is the analogy of your own body. Some of you have qualities to your own genetics, cells, and your own finger. Some of you have more money in this pinky finger than most people have combined. And this is that disillusionment of really understanding your worth in your body, being around people who, whether they meant well or not, they could have never even begun to understood the value that you literally walk around with just living and breathing. And this is where I'm saying, like, a period like this will help you reevaluate losses and L's in your life you took that were never really L's. You know what I mean? Like certain opportunities being missed, certain people overlooking you, not recognizing that you're like walking gold or diamond. And comparing you. Some people literally have to compare you to other people. Some of you have gone through that where like everything you do has to be compared to someone or something else, which is the biggest sign that you're one of a kind because people struggle to compare you to other people. Like, why can't you be like this? Why can't you be like that? Which is really important because this is where that non-material aspect of yourself. Oh, this is another thing that came in. So this is a lot of what I've been trying to say too. So basically, a lot of you are awakening to how genius your soul has always been. So like, let's say as a kid, you were taught, oh, there's just path A, B, C, and D. And everyone in your society, that's all they know. Their parents know this. That's what their parents did. Just like 99.9% of things in society that you're forced to accept or that it's normal. It's not that it's real. It's not that it's normal. It's just all people know. The modern convention of marriage, per se, or even money and the way people waste natural resources think it like, please understand there are people on this planet who think that they're wealthy and rich because they waste planet resources and wear gold like in any way it's a jewelry. Like there's so much shit we do in this world that is stupid, but because it's accepted, right? We spend fake money, we ruin the earth just so that we can give the impression of wealth. We massacre thousands of animals to purport an industry, and I'm not even vegan, but we murder thousands of animals to purport this image of wealth created by a group of people who, in any way, were never wealthy, had to literally like make up the term for it. And I'm not really talking about anything race specific. I just want to really keep that in mind because you're a part of an entire generation of people who are disillusioning yourself from all of that. These elites that set themselves in that position because they had to create something to feel better than other people, right? How can you truly be wealthy if you have to make money off of other people? True wealth would be the ability to manufacture something freely and give it to as much people as I need. I don't need your money. So a lot of people are becoming disillusioned to these case systems, and a lot of how this reinforces lies about what you're worth. A lot of people are being disillusioned to the fact that there's no age limit. Like, consider the fact that they train people like getting a lot of money isn't really getting a lot of money. You're just making an economy rich. You're just adding GDP to a country. So think about the incentive that countries have to produce citizens that make money for them. They're going to put in their pop culture models and authorities that purport an image to make you think it's all witchcraft to make you think, oh, if you're a productive citizen of our country, you do this, you make this, but it's all an illusion. Like this is something that people around the world have known, but they're getting ready to wake up to like never before. It's not that people are just figuring this out. It's just so many people have never had the ability to have an outlet to speak about these things. And as this kind of explodes outwards, this is what's going to help you realize the revolution is you. Okay. And that's what brings me to my most important point. Okay. You have path A, B, C, D that you were told your whole life. These are the only paths we do. But like your soul represents a facet of yourself that is metaphysical. Less than 1% of reality, right? Less than 1%, I believe, less than 1% of yourself is the physical self. That means there's more than 99% of yourself that is metaphysical. You can't see it. So, like, your entire life, your soul has been carving through path Z or path X, right? But your society only recognizes path A, B, C, and D. So some of you have lived your whole life thinking, oh, I'm not good at A, B, C, and D. Meanwhile, your soul has carved through an entire path. You were not taught to recognize it, though. So, to other people, to you, it may look like nothing. What are you doing with your life? You have nothing to show for your life. And yet, you weren't doing nothing. This path you've paved, right? This path your soul has led you down is everything that is unexpectedly showing itself because it was always there. But as a collective, we have been distracted. Really ask yourself that because you are a part of one of the most epic revolutions of all time. As soon as Saturn finishes out of Pisces and this arc ride is done, this is bringing in a new world order. So, this is a very proper full moon transit that's going to prepare you for this. And everything about Cancer and Capricorn has to do with the sincerity, Cancer, and the integrity of your character. Many of you walk the genius path. People can see talent. Genius is what you don't see. So just really, really keep that in mind because in a very awkward way, especially for those of you like a lot of you feel like not depressed, but like what's next? You know what I mean? Like what does all this mean? It's the common feeling everyone feels, right? A lot of late blooming is a lot of you are late bloomers as well. So it's a lot how I want to make sense of this feeling is you're not aware of the ground you're getting ready to cover. And that's why it feels weird because you know what direction you're headed into, but I don't think you realize how much of a killing you're going to make. And that could really bring these nerves because you're getting ready to confront everything that you personally have been training for, been prepared to confront. Okay. And relative to you carving this genius in your path, relative to you. And when I say this, you have receipts for this too. When I'm saying that you're making a new path, it's not even, it's just a path that's undiscovered. You have receipts for this. At this point, you're able to bring your life experience and actually confirm that this isn't just something you've made up. People are following on your path, which once again isn't necessarily at all conventional. So just be very mindful of that because this is what enables you. That's a major part of the revolution where you are your own bank, okay? You are your own limitless resource. And this is not a generation where we compete against each other to fight for resources. It's a generation as creators where we create resources and communities where we can give them out to people. So please understand, it's been trained, like there's been a huge effort to lie to you about the scarcity of resources and the scarcity of land space. None of that shit was really ever true. And unlike before, where there was this super talented elite of gatekeepers who kind of block who can really speak their voice, now I can just go live. You can just go live. You have the ability to curate your own audience. And it pisses people off who want to monopolize attention and drain other people. Yeah, it might sacrifice quality, but that just gives a greater curve to increase that quality over time. As of course, these things do not happen overnight. All right. But yeah, the reason why I want to speak on that is the major next revolution is an energy revolution. All right. And this is going to be important. School education is not schooling. So I don't really care so much about schooling, but education is very important. And with this proliferation of information, it's easy for people to just make up crap and act like they have this PhD or act like they know stuff when they don't really know anything. Study to know thyself approved. Discernment, discernment, discernment. But this next revolution is an energy revolution where a lot of what you pay corporations money for, what if you can produce that yourself with just your body, mind, and energy? Especially in light of technology that's getting ready to simplify. I mean, there's a woman who's created technology where she could play video games with her brain. The device captures the frequency of synapses being fired, and she can move with her brain. That's Pluto Aquarius, guys. It's not a coincidence this is being discovered, and of Pluto Capricorn. So just really keep that in mind. The whole notion of like authority, appeals to authority, arguments by authority. What if there was no longer a middleman? I mean, there never was, but with this production of tapping into this collective essence or source or energy, what if you were able to generate energy that was latent in your body to produce enhanced strength, thinking, shoot, if you have magic to create stuff. Okay. I want to say it like this because this is something that might, if anything, be seen as impossible when really it's been done since the most ancient of days. This is why your ancestors didn't need technology. They were the original technology. They could use telepathy. They could generate energy. All right. So, I mean, it's definitely something with the new gen that's coming back. And thankfully, it's something that you're not going to have to wait for because that's what this full moon is preparing you for. In fact, in a month from now, by the time we step into the full moon in Leo, this is going to be beta testing, harnessing advanced energy to do whatever it is you want. So that by the time we get into the Sun Saturn Pisces, this is officially kicking in this Saturn Pisces cycle that we haven't had in over 30 years. And it wasn't until the 90s that it's so interesting. The 60s, when Saturn was last in Pisces, was one of the major shifts in psychic ability. All right. The 60s was where we had the CIA testing remote viewers and the hippie generation. Then we had the 90s. The 90s was another major spike of psychic ability and also supernatural powers, or at least experiences. And that's what brings us back here. Okay. This whole notion of you being in a position to realistically tap into and champion your personal autonomy. What's good? Oh, nice. I'm almost done here. So, yeah, I'll definitely play with you guys. If anything, I'll be the referee too. I'll kind of like help officiate. Would you like to say hi to my live? This is my sister and her hubby, guys. Wow. Nice to meet everyone. Yep. Shout out to y'all. Look, she's being a crab. She's being a crab. Wait.
Anyway, when is it over? Did
Uh,
you just start?
30 minutes ago. I'm almost done.
Okay, maybe we'll play 2 games.
Yeah,
It'll be
start
the
with that.
second
I'll
one.
join you guys.
Okay.
But don't wait for me.
Let me use the get something on the fridge.
Cool beans. So yeah, y'all. Whew. Uh, you're. Oh, this is Constance. I got a doggy too.
No, you don't. I have a dog.
That's what I'm saying. They
Get
got a
out of here.
doggy. Oh my God. Thank you. Shout out to you, man. So yeah, um, when it comes to a lot of what's harvesting right now, 180 degrees is a harvest. Okay. And in cardinal signs is a harvest of power. So this is actually really cool. I want you to think that the first 6 months since March, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, that pretty much set up everything that we're kind of drawing from now. It's like you built the body, you built the habits, and now you get to really, if anything, capitalize on that, really reap from it. So this full moon in Cancer 6 months ago was a full moon in Capricorn. And it's yeah, and it's crazy because the Cancer season was what activated and harvested your psychic power. Well, the Capricorn season is now drawing from the higher capability, the higher upper limits of what it is you could do. And the reason why I want to say it like this is we had the full moon in Aries, Libra season, we had the full moon in Taurus, Scorpio season, and then we just had the full moon in Gemini. Okay. That is the introduction, right? That was for breakthrough. Now we are on the completion arc. All right. And this is very important. Remember, I've been saying we're going to enter a period of mass extinction events. The latest mass extinction event that we had, yes, this will be available in public, was the animals, the fire that burned in 2019. We've had animals die in droves, and you are witnessing several genocides. All right. And this is what's going to lead into a lot of revolution, this whole illusion that, oh, we're powerless to do anything but just watch from our computer screens. And you're going to see that's going to shift, if not overnight, quite instantly. A lot of people place expectations on other people to do things, but it definitely puts you in the position to once again realistically see that the revolution takes place where you're at with you. It's very, 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 very easy to pay attention and get distracted by conflicts on the internet that are shoved in your face to pay attention to. Pay attention to this. But thankfully, this Pluto Aqua trend, like everything that we're coming into next year, is going to show you that where you are right now, uh, it's crazy. Like you would think, oh, well, we're not going through anything here because you don't see it on the internet, and a huge disillusionment is happening. Like you're gonna realize, no, you've been. In fact, some of you don't even realize you have been fighting the good fight just by being yourself. So this is where a lot of this path you've been walking down will illuminate itself. And this is where we talked about the first three full moons for the breakthrough arc. The next three full moons are ushering in the completion arc. Technically, Cap Aqua Pisces is the completion of the seeds we sowed Aries in March. So the next three full moons, full moon in Cancer, full moon in Leo, and full moon in Virgo, is understanding the integration of this completion. So this is pretty much where, and the reason why I want to say it like that is full moon in Aries, Gemini, and Taurus, just like Aries, Taurus, and Gemini season, is like loading up the video game screen, letting the actual load screen enter, saying start game and starting the game. You won't really feel it until Cancer. Okay, so this full moon is harvesting textbook psychic power. Psychic power is a latent, innate attribute and capability that every single person on this, every living being has. Like a plant can be psychic, a dog can be psychic. It's not something that only witches do. It's not necessarily something that can even be demonized because everyone has an intellect, right? The ability to think isn't a good or a bad thing. All right. So, like, the ability to be intuitive and to discern things psychically is a God given attribute that is not even specific to human beings. This is what lends the water access to be gaslighted because it's just so misunderstood and it's fluid. It's not like Earth that is this and in this and in this, it flows into each other, right? So, with that being said, what you are harvesting is a purely sincere understanding of yourself and where you've taken your character post evolution. And this is going to really unveil facets about yourself you may not have understood and where to direct that to up the mountain because you're on that ark ride right now. You have built Noah's Ark and you're watching the floodwaters climb to the mountain level. And that's another thing. Like some of you are pressed about what you're dealing with right now, not knowing that in a few short weeks, none of that's gonna matter. Like in 2 weeks, we're gonna have this new moon, Pluto, 29 degrees in Capricorn. That is, if anything, preparing. No, I think actually no, the new moon might be in Aquarius. We might actually have Pluto in Aquarius when this happens, but regardless, you're literally activating the cycle towards a whole new paradigm. Okay, Jupiter is getting ready to come back into Gemini, and it's just something now. For those of you who have that uneasy feeling, so all right, all right. Now I'm not going to sugarcoat anything anymore, too. Some of you have a very uneasy feeling. Some of it's not even like you're depressed, but it's just like this uncertainty, which once again is not uncommon. So it's not the uncertain feeling, but it's just this like it's just like this every it can go down right now. See, many of you may not be aware you're feeling the collective, but not real time. It's like we look at everything so linear. We think 1 second, 2 second, 2 second. But imagine if your soul was expressed throughout time and space, and like there was a range in the past and in the future, almost as if like you can feel events 2 weeks ahead, but your brain is here. So you may not realize you're processing feelings a week from now that you're thinking is just, and you're just feeling it because feelings are not linear. And that's just an example. That's just an example. But basically, personally, okay, some of you who have this uneasy feeling, I'm going to be vague here once again. A lot of that is because it's going down. It is going down. And I think a lot of you are feeling the pandemonium and chaos that the rest of the collective will be feeling all of 2024. Okay? The Sun Saturn conjunction is what's going to facilitate the end. It's going to be the first Sun, Saturn, Pluto, I mean, Pisces, Sun, Saturn, Pisces that we've had in 30 years. Okay. The veil is thinning. I hate to say that because it just sounds very cliche spiritual, but the veil that separates the spiritual realm, the realm of the unseen with the seen, is not only getting reinstituted once it goes into Aries with Saturn, which is like a new spark of the veil, but a lot that has been created to delude you, you're disillusioning from. So this is where I want to be careful how I say this because it's easy for us to look to our 3D for proof. And this is really what it comes down to. Those who need external vision, those who need to see it in 3D to believe it, are going to be the most deceived people. At the end of the day, you don't want to just believe people blindly, but those who are too empirical and need to actually see things, they are going to see things that are probably entirely fabricated or aren't necessarily proven and are just taken at face value. Versus those of you who have a conviction within yourself, backed by truth, not delusion, that isn't going to be shaken no matter what you see, then you're not going to get Project Bluebeam, or you're not necessarily just going to be deceived off the wazoo. All right. And this full moon cycle is preparing you. That's the most important thing you want to see. We did full moon in Aries, Taurus, Cancer. We finished the breakthrough arc. You have broken through. Okay. The most important thing here, though, is this is where we get busy. We're completing, we're going up the mountain. Capricorn is you getting ready to apply this evolution and transformation and step into your most powerful form. Then we're going to do it again next year, like we do every year. But relative to this year, it's at its most extreme quality, 29-degree Pluto Capricorn. And this is getting ready to change the game. Like a huge weird part about this is people who spent maybe their whole life being against what it is you live. It's not that they're coming around to it. Many people are reluctantly having to agree with it. And it's not even about you they're agreeing with. It's just whatever truth or even rhetoric that you might be aligning with. And this is getting ready to change a whole lot of social expectations. A whole bunch of stuff that was never cool before is suddenly cool now. A whole bunch of stuff that used to be accepted, you get canceled for. These are examples of cultural shifts that are reaching the peak climax. And it's going to be very easy to get caught up in the never ending pandemonium that's going to kick off by March. You're going to see this increase up until March, but please do not get distracted and just tune in. This moon in Cancer is square the nodes. So this is going to unlock and harvest superpowers, meta human superpowers. I hope that sounds as ridiculous as it sounds, because thankfully, with the moon's aspects, trining the Pisces energy, trining Scorpio Venus, sextiling the Taurus, and opposing Pluto, a lot of these aspects are going to quite literally stimulate the nature of how deeply you tap into your inner power, so that Capricorn produces it for it through the awareness of how to control and organize, especially the more that Mercury retrogrades and reaches Mars. And the reason why this is going to be very unconventional, the reason why this is going to be very controversial, is this is where you're the revolution. You're not going to be seeing people on YouTube levitate and produce electricity through their fingers. You will be. Many of you watching me have already been doing this. So, what I want you to actually keep in mind, over the past 3 months, you may have experienced pure breakthrough when it comes to your abilities. I am one such of those people. Certain facets of predictions, certain facets of manifestation, I have broken through the ability to do more consistently, to produce more powerful synchronicities. And it's very easy for people to dismiss these actions as pseudoscience in your head. They get automatically emotional when you actually pull receipts, because they worship their own beliefs like a god, but then act like they're atheists, like they don't believe in the God, which is hilarious, even though CNN is so many people's God. You just believe the Associated Press blindly and then act like you're not religious. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. So, for those of you who have purported this breakthrough, okay, the moon in Cancer, moon Leo, moon Virgo is getting ready to integrate this harvest like never before. This is what's going to take what you have initially broken through as far as the next level of using your ability, which is another reason why some of you feel uneasy. It's like you've broken through, but you're not entirely sure how to make full sense of it. That's the next 3 months, starting with this full moon. And in 2 weeks, we activate completion. We are still amidst and are harvesting stage 3 breakthrough, the vision of your highest self that you are now becoming. And so this is helping you understand, how does your higher self feel? What are these feelings? But the most important thing here is you're going to start using psychic power very radically. And this is what's going to make this very controversial, because you're going to be able to compile data and evidence. A lot of you are not just doing this at once. Some of you have been doing this for years, and you're only realizing now that, oh, this is what I was doing. I was carving through path D, or is X, when they just told me A, B, C, and D is possible. Many of you are going to debunk long held scientific theories that were always theories being presented as facts for some reason. Some of you are going to awaken to the fact that, according to science, you only exist in science fiction or fantasy. So you don't even have to prove anything. You just have to be yourself, which is why you're being sent agents to suppress you, to literally make you feel like, no one can make you do anything, but to literally shame and guilt you out of who you are, because just your authenticity threatens the lie they live. And that's a lot of people. So, with that being said, it's a lot to look forward to, hence the completion arc. The example of this I want to say is, let's say the last 3 months, your whole life, you've always been intuitive, you've always been psychic, you've always had these synchronicities, you've always thought of someone and then they called, right? And then the last 3 months, full moon in Aries, full moon Taurus, full moon Gemini, you broke through. You somehow maintained the ability to harness this seemingly at will. Whereas it used to be random, now you can consistently produce these experiences and understand it at a basic intellectual level. to where you can talk to people about it. In fact, before, maybe it was hard to talk about because you couldn't make sense of it. Now you can actually open up conversation to it to where some people can share their experiences, right? So let's say this ability you broke through is the ability to think of anybody and they call you, right? Or really, if we want to break it down, this life you live is really an MMORPG. I'm not even allowed to tell you; it's taboo. As a celestial, as a celestial human hybrid, the Aquarians know this. The Gemini's play it like it. Libras be exploiting the shit out of this. So we're not allowed to tell people here that this is a video game because that's kind of like taboo. It's like playing Greed Island and letting people know that it's actually a real place. This experience you live is an MMORPG. Any air sign knows this. Fire signs kind of live it, but like, yeah. And the update that every living being is able to now download as a part of this MMORPG is a mechanic of instant manifestation. Instant manifestation. Yeah, yeah. You have people being recruited into guilds, gangs, whatever you want to call it, and busting missions together. It's an RPG. It's an MMORPG. Life is an MMORPG. I don't know if people know it yet. Like they're created updates now. You feel me? Um, it is what it is. Someone said Virgos cheat. No, Virgos grind. Pisces cheat. Pisces got all the cheat codes. That's why you need to at least have one Pisces in the clique. If you want to have one person of every sign in your guild. But if you have like a Aqua Pisces cap, you good. You got to have a Virgo, you got to have a Libra. But like if you get the more legendary members, you're good, especially if they share their cheats. You're sure right. Sag is more of a hacker. So if you got a Sag, you got a hacker on it. They'll exploit the glitches in the game. Virgo will grind the game beginning to end, play it for hours, find out the fastest way you can fit one. And Gemini will at least talk you through the experience. You'll have someone to talk to. You find some enlightened gems. So yeah, um, that's really the mechanic here. It can all be boiled down to instant manifestation, the ability to align with what already exists and use your body as a medium to make it happen. So let's say that's what you broke through into it. Hypothetically, as an example, the full moon Cancer now, full moon Leo, and full moon Virgo is going to complete this process to where over the past 3 months you've broken through. You've had synchronicities your whole life, like I thought of this happened, but you've broken through to where, oh wow, I'm doing this a lot more consistently. I thought about this, it happened. I can make stuff happen in 24 hours. Well, the next 3 months is now your ability to master this completely to where you can actually control how you do it. To where now, by the time we come into full moon in Leo, you're on stage, Sun in Aquarius, showing it to the collective, being a part of this revolution. All right. Um, and this is where Venus in Scorpio, opposite, okay, Uranus and Jupiter, the last personal planet to go on tour before it catches up in Sagittarius and everything exponentially moves fast, is the final part of this financial revolution for you. Even if some of you are going through massive loss, that's just going to help you re strategize what direction to move into, which is why some of you might need that loss, or you're just going to completely exponentially multiply your money. But the thing is, the major part of this revolution is recognizing your worth. And I don't mean in a like know your worth thing. Some of you may be blind to the fact that you are a walking gold. All right. Insecure people need someone to feel better than. That's why you'll see losers purport their wealth, their status. That's not even real, by the way. Like you're a living, physical, breathing being, and people will take non physical material items and weigh that as more than your worth. Thank you. That's a form of witchcraft. Like that, we can pretend like the only way that's cool is if we're playing Monopoly. People who do that brag about their Monopoly money and then flex about I worked hard for this. This is hard work and dedication. You're trash. You don't even know what game you're playing. Like stop. So just really keep that in mind. A lot of people don't know their worth. That's why they trade it for fake money. All right. What if you're able to actively harness your value in the form of energy, in the form of your own abilities? Everything that you've been taught as a kid is pseudoscience, and you've been shown movies to be purported as fantasy, where, it's actually one of the greatest secrets known to mankind, you and your potential. This is why people exploit it. Corporations spend billions of dollars every day so that they can harness your energy. Your attention is where the energy flows. It's literally as simple as that. They pay these entertainers to gaslight you into thinking you have to be cool. That's all the game is. You have to be cool. It's not cool to know about yourself. They hypersaturate these spiritual fields to dilute it and put in your face, oh, see, this person's a fraud, this person's a fraud, so this isn't real. It's all entertainment. And see, you're not an idiot. So you never fell for it. And that's why you're a threat, because you're the revolution. It's you. It's you. Let me break down the program, guys. Sun Pluto this month. Then Aquarius season, Sun is going to square Uranus and Jupiter. Crazy. Then we're going to have Sun, Saturn, and Neptune in Pisces. We're not missing up a beat. Then we have the eclipse in Aries season. Then we have Sun, Uranus, and Jupiter in Taurus. Then we have Jupiter and in Gemini. That's the next 6 months before Cancer season. This is it. This is why China is talking about, I want to take Taiwan. You see this Middle Eastern beef. You're seeing Epstein's list get released, which is just entertainment. All that's not even important. What's important is the revolution happening within you and how you're getting ready to complete the gift 2023 gave you as far as evolving into your true super self, into who you've always truly been, and how this is very collectively intertwined. Unless you're a weirdo born after the 2000s and you were just born with all your God powers, and you don't have to, and you're looking at the rest of us like we're weird. Like, how do they not get it? We're sorry. We're catching up to you guys. If you're born after 2000, we're effectively catching up to you. Don't worry about that. But basically, you know, I hope you enjoy this period. Um, a lot of celebrity culture is done and everyone is pretty much disillusioned. But that doesn't mean we won't have celebrities. The celebrities that are going to be famous are those who are knowledgeable. It's going to be like how it was before, philosophers who know what the fuck they're talking about, um, actual legit scientists, engineers, public speakers, right? A lot of what we kind of paraded because it made money, it's not really going to be that valuable anymore because everyone has their own currency. That's kind of what we're stepping into. And shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson. It's very, very, very beautiful. So, yeah, we are past that opposition. The moon is about 4 degrees right now. We are 180 degrees. And this is what's going to lead into the third quarter square. The third quarter square is going to involve the nodes. So you are on the verge of harvesting this full moon, moon in Leo, and moon in Virgo. I fuck with Umar heavy. Yeah, I know people hate on Dr. Umar. I've never had an issue with Dr. Umar. That dude's the truth. But other than that, you know what I mean? Shout out to Leo Nation. Um, I hope you guys enjoy this. Shout out to those of you with Cap or Cancer 4 degree placements. If we talk about, yes, this will be available for replay, no problem. If we talk about realistically the nature of this lunar cycle, in 2 weeks, we're going to activate this final boss battle cycle. So this is a mini boss battle. This is the road to the boss battle. We're going to have the opposition of Pluto. And this is where it's hard for me to say this because I keep holding my tongue. I'm just going to channel straight. Um, I don't like to really just openly talk about psychic attack because it's so easy for people to One disgusting thing that happens in this community is people who accuse others of astral crimes. You know, if I accuse someone of spiritually attacking me or psychically attacking me, that's how I fell out with somebody. She told me that her guide said I was talking shit. And I was like, how do you argue with someone who says their guide said? You feel me? Like, this is why we get such a bad reputation. But that does not change the fact that psychic attack still exists. And this is where we don't want to just project it blindly to whoever we feel is attacking us. That's delusional. That's delusion. Even if you feel like you have some intuition, let these things play out. But for those of you feeling psychic attack, a lot of what you're feeling doesn't necessarily even come. It could be aggravated by a specific person, but a lot of what you're feeling are just unconscious collective vibrations that stand in opposition or clash with your frequency. And then your critical brain makes sense of it the way it makes sense of it, right? So it's something that you don't necessarily want to deny, but it's not anything you want to give power over you as well. It's something you're going to kick its ass anyway. But you don't have to personalize it so much that you're looking you're looking at other people like, are you attacking me? Are you attacking me? So just keep that in mind. By their fruit, you'll know them. And this is going to really tie you out towards certain mind frames or sets that people hold that could be against you directly or indirectly. But what is going to be very rewarding coming into the next 2 weeks is when you play a video game, before you fight the final boss, you get that final weapon, you get that upgrade. This full moon is you harvesting the power of the ascension you just activated. You just blasted off. This is you harvesting the power of this new perspective. And over the next 2 weeks, you're going to harvest and complete this power so that we'll step into the new moon. And then you activate this final boss battle cycle using this new power. You're going to integrate and master over the next week. All right. So a lot of last season was perspective. It was Sagittarius. We were aligning new perspectives. Now we're applying that in the form of power. And this is where now that we're harvesting this, this is going to strengthen how much stronger you are channeling power through your emotions, how much you are going to be slaying these demons within and out and around you. And if I may say so, especially relative to this MMORPG, now that you have broken through instituting this instant manifestation protocol, this is going to help you integrate more. How? Because instant manifestation is what the collective is doing. How you do it is going to be different from how other people do it. All right. Don't waste your time arguing with people who create persuasive definitions for what you do, and who twist the meaning of your words. Truth does not need defense. There are people who are listening and acknowledge the truth, and anyone who didn't want to believe wasn't going to believe anyway or listen to you. So, this is what I'm saying. Don't get distracted by people who are insecure because you stand in your authenticity and it gives them cognitive dissonance to the lie that they lived their whole life. Most, like, I promise you, some of you are walking diamonds. Like, you've been lied to about your worth. If I lie to you about what you're worth, how am I going to convince you to work for my job? If I want to purport societally that it's good to do this and good to do that, how am I going to do that if I am honest about what you're worth? I'm not trying to set up that this is some conspiracy because most people are just ignorant and they just really don't know. But not everyone's ignorant, and some people do know. Trust me. So, like, what if you knew that, like, your body was worth more the bank, all the money in the bank that is next to you? Don't worry, because Evidence of this is going to unfold in front of your very eyes through you. It's not going to be someone that tells you. You're going to show yourself. Like, this is what we're harvesting here. The next 3 months is completing this process so that we can step into the next year, 2024, in April, and now do it all over again, but with the emphasis of the world ending. 2023 was just a bridge and transition from the end of one world to the beginning of the end of that world. Okay. Once we step into that cycle of March, it officially begins. And that's 30 years in the making. Last time we had a Sun, Saturn, Pisces was 30 years in the making. So the one thing I want you to really meditate on is how would you respond to every experience you're in if you knew just your body alone? Forget the ideas that you have that might be worth millions. Many of you have not, I know, right? Many of you have not accepted the fact that your body, element, and I mean unique attributes of your own body and self that other people don't have, purport your natural intrinsic worth to a lot more than just a net worth and assets. So, thankfully, once again, you know those people who hide behind their resources and they didn't have any sort of confidence until they got rich. I'm not talking about those geezers, those doofuses. I'm talking about those of you who realize your value is within you. And it's not just a saying. You have the experiences. You know you could be put anywhere on this earth. You're going to make some stuff happen. You create magic. You feel me? So, like, with that being said, I just want you to meditate on that, move forward with that, because all of this is going to be revealed. I mean, you're not just thinking this to feel good about yourself. This is aligning your intention so it can guide you towards revealing that. But if I can convince you you're not special and that you don't have any intrinsic worth, then if we try and reveal this to you, you won't even recognize it. So just by you focusing on what's within you, this is what's going to attract psychic attack so that you feel too ashamed and guilty to claim what's yours. Take your power back. That is the theme of this full moon. And thankfully, as the moon begins to trine Neptune, this is going to unveil all the power that has been hidden within you this entire time so that you can direct coming on the new moon what direction to take it. And everything about Capricorn season is opening up mechanics of utilizing these abilities. Mercury retrograding back in Sag is connecting with Mars and Venus so that you can see exactly how to move forward with this evolved power. So I think I'm going to end this right here. There's so much more I want to say, but I just wanted to remind you of the perpetual age old message that the power is within you. And I know some of you want to understand this at a level too quickly, but just take your time with it. It's you, it's not going anywhere. You're not bound to just this reality, this time, and this space. Clue. I think they're playing the board game Clue. So, yeah. Um, Basically, by the time in 2 weeks from now, when we're activating this new Capricorn cycle, you're going to be moving forward with newly acquired, awakened God power. What I mean by God power is basically every ability you have already been using. I mean, even if your ability is to run a 200-meter race in 12 seconds, imagine everything that you can do now. How would you do it if you can do it at the God level, at your greatest level? Because you can do that. You have the capability to do that. Well, in 2 weeks from now, that's what you're going to do, which means now it's harvesting the biological, psychological changes within your body and mind that you spent the past 9 months preparing for is completing. And all of this throughout the moon in Virgo and Scorpio and Sag will be revealed to you to prepare for that new moon in Capricorn. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Actually, I'll see you guys in a week when I get back so we can do the monthly peace report and the programs. But yeah, so thankfully, this is a full moon of harvest. All the work that you had to do was the past 2 weeks. All you got to do is harvest from moon in Libra, moon in Cancer to moon in Libra. Okay. This is going to be you harvesting what you've planted. That's going to be you feeling yourself awaken crazy power, crazy power. And you just have to look like you worked for it. Okay. That's it. That's it. All the retrograde planets are getting ready to go direct. And as you move forward, I think this is going to bring in uniqueness in certain abilities you have that other people don't, and how it is you actually tap into it. And I have to once again look at the emphasis of how controversial a lot of what you're stepping into are phenomena that you've been told your whole life is not possible, because this is really the anti the we can just call them a group of evil celestial beings who pimp out different star systems, and humanity was a project of theirs that they wanted to dumb down to make a slave race, and that didn't work. So like, yeah, the slave is available. I'm not saying that that's what's happening. That's just the concept I'm throwing out there. The truth is even stranger than that piece of fiction, so I don't even want to go into that. But like, yes, um, prepare to harvest this. This is the first of three breakthroughs. Capricorn is going to awaken your power. Once we step into Aquarius season, you're going to begin to harness energy, Pluto Aquarius. And then once we step into Pisces, this is applying this instant manifestation download so that you can begin the Saturn Pisces reality warping protocol, which is a collective event where everyone is going to tap into that space of imagination, and Pisces will reign supreme as they always do, but they don't even count. Who really wants to be a Pisces? Like seriously, I just don't know. All right. So with that being said, you guys stay blessed as always. Um, there's a strong, powerful, intuitive pull that will guide you, not based on anything physical. So follow that internal compass. And even though it'll feel like you're reacting to nothing, know that it's a facet of you outside of your physical awareness that is still as real as your physical self. And this is going to really complete the process of the work you've done to align with this and bring this through. Okay. You guys stay blessed as always. I love you guys so much as well. And have a blessed and happy new year. And until next time.